Yo, what's up, everybody? It's episode 2. SparCenter, we giving you the recap. You know we had to do the recap. We just had a nice, fun-filled night of boxing. Great card put together by Showtime. Honestly and truly, I appreciate it. It was worth the money. So, thank you, Showtime, and a beautiful main event. But controversy, some upsets, some I don't know. Let's just get into it. What do you think about the entire card tonight?
The entire card was great. Again, the controversy that we had Chris Colbert,
How controversial was it?
How controversial was it?
In the arena, it seemed really controversial because
It didn't seem controversial to me.
that's what I'm saying. It's a difference of how you look at the fight.
How you look at the fight. Power against ring generalship. Chris did a great job. He did better than I thought. I actually thought he was going to lose this fight.
Yeah, I thought he was out of the fight. Every round that he got hurt in, I thought it was going to be the end of the fight.
He thought he was out of the fight quick too. But he did great. He did great.
Rematch worthy.
He could work on some things, especially his power and his output.
But could you work on power? Can he work on power?
Yeah, he could. He could work on his output. Yeah, he
His
could work on
output.
Yeah, he can work on his output. He had Valenzuela dead to rights a couple of times, and he did not shoot. And I think that's the reason why the crowd reacted the way that they did, because he was controlling the fight. He just wasn't shooting in the in those moments. And I think that's what the crowd was that the crowd had a problem with. But he was controlling the majority of the fight.
I think controlling might be a strong word. Only because of the lack of output. I think there was certain rounds in the fight where he guided the fight. I wouldn't say controlling it, because sometimes to control a fight means that it's fully in your control. I don't think he ever had the fight fully in his control. I think he won rounds because he was the more regular fighter out of the two fighters. But I don't think he ever had control of the fight. He had rounds where it was clearly his rounds, but then he had rounds where it definitely seemed like he could have got 10-8'd on his feet in certain rounds.
Yeah, I wouldn't put the rounds that he lost fully as a 10-8.
Me either. I'm just saying it.
He gave away too much to Rayo as far as betraying the fact that he was hurt too much. He did it too much.
Yeah, he portrayed it every time he got hurt, it was evident.
It was evident that he got hurt, and I think that's what the crowd
saw. Yeah,
and
because at no point did he hurt Rayo.
His footwork was great. He didn't have dancing legs. He didn't have jumpy legs. He was actually very sturdy, more sturdy than I thought that he would be, because I didn't give him as much credit going into this fight. I thought after the Garcia fight, I pretty much figured that he would just be, just a name that you would throw in there, just to be an opponent. And I'm pretty sure Valenzuela thought the same thing.
So what do you attribute Valenzuela's inability to finish to?
Green. He's not polished. He's not polished at all. He had him hurt, and even though he did stun him 3 times to my count.
He dropped him and hurt him twice.
And then he stunned him twice.
Yeah, for sure.
If you want to call the last 5 seconds of the fight a stun, okay, cool, 4 times. But he showed his lack of experience in trying to get a stunned fighter, hurt fighter out of there. And
he definitely had.
A lot of people gave him credit for being able to do that.
To hurt him.
Probably too quickly. No, to get you out of there. And they gave him that credit probably too much, because he was green. He didn't know what to do.
He should have got Colbert out of there.
He should have.
For sure.
He should have. He had the power to do it, and it seemed like just his punch selection was all wrong all night. Other than, even the 2 times that he stunned him, overhand left, I've never really seen much overhand lefts stun a shorter fighter. I don't know how Chris was taking it, or I don't know how he actually was getting it, but it happened. But even that punch You know, I don't think that Valenzuela is at the level that a lot of people think that he is. If he moves to a higher level than a Chris Colbert, he's gonna get hurt really bad.
For sure, that's one thing we could agree
De Los
on.
Santos showed that in the last fight that some of these guys will hurt, and we don't even know who De Los Santos is.
Right.
He just could punch. Rayo's neck is too up in the air. Hint, Ryan, peep, your man Valenzuela.
Colbert didn't even take advantage of it.
He didn't. That's what I'm saying. So, but as far as ring generalship, he did everything that he could do to control the fight without actually the output that we would like.
Yeah.
But having said that, I think he won the fight. I think the judges' scorecards was on
Colbert,
point.
you believe Colbert deserved
I believe
the
Colbert
win?
won the fight. It was controversial because I guess it's just like what you want. You want ring generalship, you want the guy that hits hard. But
So outside of the 10-8 round, which was the first round, I only gave Rayo clearly the 2 rounds that he hurt
2 rounds that he hurt.
Colbert in.
And it wasn't hurt to 10-9, to the 10-9 effect. It was I'm down to 10-8 effect.
Mm-hmm.
It was 10-9s. So yeah, and 50, 56, 50, 55, 54 is good in my book.
But let's not harp on it as though I'm excited for the controversy. I'm excited for the result because I believe that this makes a great rematch. I think the build up to a rematch, I think the fight for a rematch, because if Valenzuela can hurt Colbert, which we clearly know he can hurt Colbert whenever he lands, maybe he'll step on the gas a little bit more and find ways to finish him, which makes for an exciting fight.
I don't think that his problem was stepping on the gas. Like I said, when I listed his problem, I don't think it was stepping on the gas. I just think he just doesn't have the punch selection. He hits hard, but he's a basic offensive fighter. He's a basic offensive fighter, and he leaves himself way too wide open. Again, I'm looking beyond Chris Colbert. Listen, it was a good fight. It was for no belts. It was 10 rounds. In nobody's estimation, Chris Colbert is one of the elite 135s. He came up from 130. He came up from a loss from 130. I don't think that he's a good test. If you can't beat Chris Colbert coming up.
Yeah, but let's not even think about belts, because we both agree that Rayo is not of that pedigree. But strictly in terms of
this
entertainment,
fight, and these two,
are you excited for a rematch? Would you want to see a rematch? Do you believe a rematch is worth watching?
It's a good fight. It's something to do if you don't have anything else. No, really, it's something to do if you have something. But listen, I wanted to see what Rayo was gonna do after that De Los Santos fight, and I saw it. I'm not.
What Rayo was going to do after the De Los Santos?
Yeah. I wanted to see it. I'm not. I don't care if I see Rayo again with Chris Colbert. Chris is not going to knock him out. He's probably going to do the same thing. I don't think. Okay, cool. If he does, if Rayo does, probably put a couple of punches that he didn't do tonight in there. He said he was having fun. Yeah,
I don't know, man. I'm a sucker for a storyline. I like this rematch. I hope they make the rematch because they both seem like they would be willing to take a rematch. I hope, and honestly and truly, there's nobody else that they could go on and fight that they have solid chances of winning. If Rayo moves up and fights, who's in the Showtime stable? Frank Martin, he loses. If Chris Colbert even dares to fight anybody of a better pedigree than Rayo, he loses.
Cruz is probably like the lowest level of the elite 135s, and Cruz kills these guys. So. But again, I mean, listen,
they might fight each other again. That's the best. That's the best fight for both of them.
Each other again. But again, like I said, I've seen enough of Rayo, and I've given him the benefit of the doubt a couple of times. I'm good. Yeah, I'm good on him. I actually believe, and again, if Chris Colbert could make more money doing something else, that's if. He probably could, because he probably should, because of the fact that, listen, if you do fight Rayo again, you may just get knocked out. But
if he fights anybody, he may just get knocked out. He doesn't have the best
Which is why you could use this as a springboard to fight somebody with the name, you know?
At 130 or 135?
135. Or if he wants to go to 130, I mean, when's the last time
you could probably go back down and make the rematch with Garcia.
Nah, that's not going to work out. It's a different type of fighter, and the pressure is going to be too much for Chris. As far as pressure, you could fight Gary. They have similar.
Man, Gary, how many times Gary fight again?
You're not.
All right.
That's if you can get Gary to agree on a fight.
Right.
Right,
the rematch is, to me, I believe the rematch for the both of them is the best bet moving forward. Excitement. Maybe they'll get some money because this was a controversial fight, so it turns into excitement because of the controversy that surrounds it. Moving on, let's talk about your boy Joey Spencer.
Joey Spencer
and Jesus.
We won't talk about them for too long, right?
No.
Yeah, because Joey tried.
He
was flat. He fought flat-footed against a guy that wanted him to be there. Yeah. You're smaller than the guy. Obviously, you don't have the firepower of this dude, so I don't know what his game plan was.
It's crazy how much smaller than Ramos he looked in the ring, but they're both listed at 5'10". And
they both listed at 5'10"?
Both.
Oh, I didn't see this.
And Ramos, he was at least 4 inches taller than him in there.
Nah.
I don't know if it's a stance Spencer came in, but that stand up and slug, that wasn't it.
Again, same thing too. With the record like 16-1-10, with that one now. Whether Jesus is ready to jump into the elites, I won't say that yet. He looks a little slow. He does have good firepower, but he looks a little slow. And you know who I like at 154, so.
Yeah, Tim Zoo, man.
Kid Zoo!
I'm still rolling with Charlo.
Timothy. Oh, no, Tim, I'm sorry. He gets offended when you call him Tim.
But I think Ramos, who could we see Ramos move? He's undefeated.
I would love to see Ramos and Funduro.
Yeah, that'd be a nice fight.
Nobody wants to fight Funduro, so.
And I don't think he would not want to fight Funduro, but it's whether or not Showtime is willing to put him in there with Funduro right now. Or,
I mean, again, and this is all speculation because, you know, you've been hearing some news pop up in the past like week and a half where it seems like other fighters who are making big fights are cornering these guys, and you're hearing some news. But me personally, we spoke about it a lot last year. I'm tired of hearing these two guys' names put together. So I have no problem with Spence moving up to 154 and fighting Ramos as an early fight.
We
in 154.
Totally disagree there. I don't want to see Spence at 154, especially not if he's going to 154 and retaining his belts at 147.
No, I'm not talking about if he's retaining his belts. Yeah. I'm just talking about going. If he's saying
let the belts go.
Out of his mouth, he said he wants to go.
Right. It's hard for him to make 147.
It's hard for him to make 147. That's evident.
He's said that on numerous occasions.
Unless I see something on paper. I don't want to see any internet windows, screens about, you know, Crawford Spence. I don't want to see anything like that unless I see something solid about Crawford and Spence.
Let's not go down that.
I don't want to hear anything about it.
Let's not go down that rabbit hole.
So what I'm saying is that Spence could be a factor in one thing. Or, you know what?
For Ramos,
Danny Ramos, Danny is a good fight. They're both PBC also.
Yeah,
so Danny could get in there.
Danny I don't think Danny wants that fight. I don't think when Danny looks at the landscape of 154, I don't think he is jumping to fight Jesus Ramos. I just don't think so.
Okay. But, all right. Well, we'll see.
Yeah. So that was bad game plan, bad night for Spencer. I don't think he could beat Ramos.
And if you can't beat Ramos with a game plan like that, then I don't see you being much of a factor in 154.
Yeah. It's just surprising how small he looked, even though they were the same height. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah. Main event. Score one for me. If you watch our last episode, I was probably off by a round. I think I said 8, or I said 10. But it went the distance. But what a fight! I thought he was going to stop him in the 8th. I'm disgusted with Kenny Bayless and his involvement in the fight.
Don't say disgusted. He's
disgusted.
Earned enough.
Disgusted.
Good faith. He's earned enough good faith. Kenny Bayless is all right. But
disgusted. He did everything. I feel like he did a lot. He did too much. I'm not going to say he did everything in his power to help kill it. I just think that he was way too involved in the flow of the fight, inserted himself way too much into the fight. But David was still able to get it done. So I'm happy for that.
Kenny's first 6 or 7 rounds was kind of funky. He did some stuff, and I'm not sure what round it was. I can't remember. But the round that he did stop to see the well-being of Caleb.
It's either the 8th or the 9th.
That was horrible, Kenny. You can't do that. You call it 8 count, or you give a reason for the stoppage. You give a reason for stopping time, or like, if it was a elbow or something out of the realm of boxing. But everything that Caleb was taking so far was within the realm of boxing. So if you have to stop it, you have to give me an 8 count. And I'm saying this, and I was for Plant, but Kenny did a horrible job. But you have good faith in me, so I'm good with you.
Pressure. You cannot.
It didn't make a difference.
You cannot run, or you cannot try to be a slickster and counterpunch a guy for 12 rounds straight if you don't have any power to make him respect you. If he could just keep walking to you, at some point you're going to get tired. I don't care how much cardio you do. Boxing is a hell of a sport. You're in there by yourself. There's no substitutes. I just don't see it work.
Yeah,
I don't see it work.
Yeah, Caleb has to ask himself what. I understand you look pretty doing what you do. I understand you look professional doing what you do. But at the end of the day, boxing is the hurt business. And you have to tell yourself at some point in time, you're going to try to hurt somebody. Yeah. And at
least make them think about getting hurt.
Yeah, and he has a bad habit of, again, putting himself in position and not shooting his punches. He did try the left to the body and to the head a couple of times, but he did it from so far because his back foot was so far from his body that even David, I'm pretty sure, was willing to take whatever he gave because it wouldn't really have anything coming behind it because he was just so ready to get out of there.
The announcers said that, sorry to cut you, at the end of the fight, they said that, coming down to the end of the fight, they said that David was doing such a great job cutting the ring off. Me personally, I just think it was the pressure and Caleb slowing down. I don't think David does an amazing job at cutting off the ring. It's just he's going to walk you down. And if you don't have the energy to get away from him, it's going to look like he's cutting the ring off.
I give him credit for cutting the ring off because of the fact that, again, he is fighting a superior boxer, and he did make him stand eventually, which is what he does with everybody. So, but again, yeah, he wouldn't get tired if he didn't actually touch him up.
Right.
And he did touch him up, so he had to touch him up by doing something. David is going on to look like
to be.
Yeah, he's going on to look like something special. And
truth, man. Truth.
If he could do, I mean, I didn't look to see if he had a mark on his face, but it looked to me like he didn't. He didn't take that much punishment.
No.
Granted, listen, Plant is not the guy that busts you up unless you're a Mike Lee or a guy like that. The Russian dude that he busted up a little bit.
The upper was way too low from Caleb.
As we seen with Caleb previously, but again, the Darrell thing again. I kind of put
like
a little
said in the
too
last
much
episode.
Stock. Yeah, I kind of put a little too much stock into it.
I think it was just who he fought.
Yeah, it was. I mean, again, it was an entertaining fight. Yeah. Again, the fight itself wasn't a great fight. It was a great clash of styles, and it was great to see if BENAVIDEZ would overcome.
If he'll figure it out.
A better version of fighters. He usually fights guys that stand with him. Seeing a guy that did not want to stand with him and how he would do, and he did phenomenal.
Yeah,
phenomenal.
David definitely went up some levels. Whether or not he did enough for Big Nello to fight him, I highly doubt it.
AKA payday.
Payday.
You want payday?
You want payday? I don't think.
But now everybody knows who is David BENAVIDEZ.
Headline of pay-per-view.
Honestly, I don't know how you put the camera or put David BENAVIDEZ.
He cannot
unless this guy throws a wrench into the whole thing, and I don't even know why Canelo would want to fight Bivol again. But other than that, listen, just like it's almost come. It's not the same thing, but if we get a year, if we get a 12-month span with no even talk of BENAVIDEZ Canelo, it's gonna head into Crawford Spence territory where it's like, listen, you
I don't think
spit or get off the pot type deal. So,
I don't think Canelo takes the fight. When you get to a point where you could fight the John Ryders of the world.
If you had to John Ryder, if you had to advise Canelo, would you advise him to take the fight?
No.
So?
Because he could fight other people and make the money. But
like who?
Anybody. You don't think you're gonna make the same money to fight Bivol?
I don't know. He can fight Bivol, but I'm just saying, like, how does Canelo sit in a press conference?
Because how he loses to Bivol is gonna be totally different to if he loses to BENAVIDEZ. Because at the end of that Bivol fight, he wasn't busted up. He wasn't.
No. Bivol's not gonna bust you up. He's gonna move and
so
he's gonna.
I fight Bivol again before I fight BENAVIDEZ. He's already undisputed. He could probably give the belts up if he wanted to.
How does Canelo sit in front of a camera with a mic and not feel questions about whether you're gonna fight David BENAVIDEZ?
Drop the belts.
Yeah,
say that your main concern is avenging your loss to Bivol after you fight Ryder, and what? Let the belts go out at 168.
He's not big. He's not gonna go to 175. He's gonna be at 168 unless he tries to wait BENAVIDEZ out. BENAVIDEZ is what, 25, 26 or whatever. So he's not gonna wait him out.
But I mean, I would love to see the fight. I'm not saying Canelo wouldn't take the fight because he's scared of BENAVIDEZ. I just think he has other options that could get him the same amount of money. So I don't know. I would love to see the fight.
Seeing that Caleb, let me ask you this: seeing that Caleb lasted 12, do you think there's an outside chance of Triple G throwing his name in there or Charlo?
No, Charlo's not fighting BENAVIDEZ.
He's not.
Triple G's not fighting BENAVIDEZ.
You don't think Triple G is gonna go for like a retirement plan of like, yo, I'll take BENAVIDEZ and just.
I mean, I'll watch it if he does, but for what?
All right.
Triple G won't go 12 with BENAVIDEZ.
No, he won't.
Because he doesn't move nowhere as near as well as Caleb Plant does.
Or nowhere as well as he used to.
Right.
So, Charlo.
You know me.
He said he wanted the winner.
I'm not a believer in Big Charlo.
In Mal?
Because Big Charlo doesn't fight the people that he needs to fight, he should fight. But
he said he's back and he said he's gonna fight up. He's gonna fight the winner.
I'm watching BENAVIDEZ fight anybody, honestly. Any one of those guys up there. Andrade will fight him.
Big Cuban.
Morrell.
Morrell.
That's a good fight. Morrell's scary. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Morrell's a scary dude.
Was a rough dude.
Yeah.
He's not the fastest dude, but he's a good technician, and that would be a good fight. I don't know. I mean, yes, Morrell will want the fight. I think, just on a business level, I think BENAVIDEZ, what he did tonight.
He wants Canelo.
Yeah, he wants Canelo. Again, if anybody with any sense who's advising Canelo, including Canelo, is not going to take a BENAVIDEZ fight. Yeah. He avoided it for so long.
Morrell will be a step down for BENAVIDEZ, though.
Right. No, what I'm saying is, having said that, so that's what I'm saying. So Morrell has to do something on the level of this, seeing that BENAVIDEZ had to wait so long to be put on a stage like this.
Yeah.
I don't think he's just going to offer it up to Morrell.
Get Morrell Andrade or one of these guys and see how it turns out.
Andrade is different. I think he could fight him because, I mean, listen, the possibility of him doing this to Andrade is very likely. Andrade hits a little better. He sits on his punches a little more.
He's way more awkward than Caleb.
Very awkward, but
that's his strongest.
At the end of the day, that's it. Yeah, like you said, that's what you say about Andrade.
Awkward.
I like him, like his personality. But again, if that's what you come up with, what I seen tonight, you have to have an output that I don't think Andrade has. Morrell is the only person I see with an output that that as far as I mean, for the people that we've seen so far.
Honestly, now with
and Mal. Listen, you don't believe that much in Mal. I do. I mean, I think those two brothers are pretty good.
I'm sold on Mel. I'm sold on Mel, not Mal. Big Charlo, not so much. 154 Charlo. I roll with 154 Charlo.
Yeah, but Mal is no bum. Mal can handle himself. Again, listen, even regardless of who's in the ring with BENAVIDEZ, you're gonna have to answer some questions around round 8, and everybody who faces this guy right now.
If you're flat-footed, you don't beat BENAVIDEZ because you're gonna be there to get hit. And I believe that Mal isn't elusive enough to keep BENAVIDEZ off of him. Caleb did his best today, and we see what happened. At some point, he's gonna get to you.
Right. So yeah, no, I mean, and this guy, you're gonna have to do your work with BENAVIDEZ. Apparently, it looks in the first couple of rounds. I actually gave. I mean, they were generous. I don't know how many rounds they gave.
Yeah, what do you have the rounds?
I don't know how many rounds they gave Plant, and I wasn't rooting for Plant. I was rooting to be right. You know what I'm saying? I said Plant was gonna win for years ago. All the evidence pointed the way the Mexican Monster was gonna be who he was.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the lack of competition, and I thought we never seen him have to answer any questions.
I gave Plant 1 and 2.
You gave Plant 1 and 2. I gave Plant 1. I gave the second and third a draw. You didn't want to give draws. I gave the second and third draws, and then after that, it's a wash. They didn't probably give BENAVIDEZ any 10-8s. I have 10 and 11, 10-8s.
That's 10-8 rounds, okay.
To me, and that's it. I mean, it was a wash. I gave him 1 round, so I didn't think he would do that bad, but that was horrible.
BENAVIDEZ was on him. He was on him.
Yeah. Again, let's say those first 3 rounds, right? If you're really generous and you give him those first 3 rounds.
Who, Plant? Yeah.
Yeah. Let's say if you're really generous and you give him the first 3 rounds, right?
Especially if you rooting to be right and not rooting for Plant.
No. I'm just saying if you value pot shots, effective punching, and you don't view it as running, and you don't view it as running, right? And you give him the first 3 rounds, he still didn't have the output that you saw that would say, you know what, this guy is gonna be, this guy's gonna have to think about what's coming to him. At no point tonight. I mean, listen, I've seen other fights. I watched the Ronald Ellis fight the other night. Ronald Ellis gave BENAVIDEZ
you give him more to think about
than what's going on with Plant, and Plant has to ask himself, he
was too. Like you said, his stance was too wide. He was more concerned with getting out of the way than imposing any will.
I tell you, man, Plant, and I told you the other day, Plant seems like the perfect sparring partner to teach you what to do and what not to do. But at some point in time, it's the hurt business.
Yeah, you gotta be able to hurt somebody.
Yeah, and BENAVIDEZ,
especially at these higher weights too. You ain't just gonna shine people to death at 168.
Yeah. You have to have some type of output, which he does not have. Yeah. And that was disappointing because, again, you would ask yourself, did this guy tease us with Darrell?
Apparently, it's just the right fight at the right time with the right punch. One question before we get out of here.
Yeah.
What does Caleb Plant do now?
Caleb, he can't go to 160. No, I mean, he says he's willing to fight everybody. He's like, I'm the guy to fight everybody. I
think Charlo.
If he can fight Charlo's like, okay, you know what? This guy's not gonna hurt me. So let's see.
Before you fight, sure.
Let's see what we could do. And that's about it, man. There's not really much that he can do. I mean, because the book is we know the book on Plant. Yeah. The last two years, if you want to say 2 years, 2.5 years. He's made, a good living. He's, he has a family now. The family that he always, that he always wanted, in his early life. He has it now. There's really nothing much for him to do. Is he going to be a gatekeeper? Now guys are going to think, listen, I'll just walk to this guy. So is he going to be a gatekeeper? I would like to see Plant be a gatekeeper. I think he's too good for that. And so he's going to, so a prospect is going to go to Plant. A prospect might lose to Plant. But having said that, I mean, it's prize fighting, and I'm pretty sure if you give him whatever
they could sell me on a Plant Charlo fight even after tonight.
They could sell me on a Plant Charlo Mal could sell any. Again, I mean, you might not be sold on him because of his level of competition, and he was supposed to fight. I forgot the guy's name that he canceled. Which is, listen, let's do this for reasons that we have to accept. He said it's for mental health purposes. We have to accept that. If this guy's going through some stuff, Mal, work through your stuff and then come back. You know, don't come back before any time. Trust me, saying you and your brother, y'all have been good for boxing. Y'all have been great for boxing. So don't do anything to try to please fans or whatever, but get yourself right. If you say you were out because of, you know, personal reasons, and those personal reasons have anything to do with, you know, the mental health situation, these days we're paying more attention to that, and we want to make sure that you're all right as a person before you step in the ring. Having said that, if you do step in the ring with a, like you said, with the plant, you won't get hurt that much. I mean, you're not gonna get hurt that much. So
evidently,
but so that'll be a cool fight. You know, a couple of these other cats might test you on a higher level. And but other than that, like I said, I don't want to see Plant be a gatekeeper. If Plant hangs it up today,
because I think he still has the skills to give the top dogs at 168 good fights. He's
31. He set out to be a champion. He is the champion. He was a champion. He did it. He accomplished what he accomplished. He said for personal reasons he accomplished that.
If Canelo gets rid of these belts, he could probably be a champion again. Who knows? But a good night of boxing.
Having said that, if BENAVIDEZ, he came in and he weighed in looking pretty small,
he could make 168.
We don't know if he wants to. We don't know if he wants to do that anymore. I mean, he looked great after he rehydrated.
I'm confident in him making 168 after this weighing in this fight. Camp.
He was pretty drawn out on the scale, and I was concerned that he actually had some. Okay,
so you did say that you were concerned about how he looked at the weigh-in.
Yeah,
but there wasn't no lingering effects.
No.
In the fight, he looked like same old.
Yeah, he looked like what he does. Again, like I said. So, but if he wants to go to 175, I don't see him having that much problems at 165. Now, mind you,
175.
Mind you, at him and Bivol would be great if Bivol could. I mean, I don't want to say Bivol should give up the gravy train, because I think he gave up a lot of money to fight Canelo the first time, and he's trying to get a little.
He wants
something.
the Canelo rematches.
He wants the pot.
He deserves it.
He wants the pot. He wants the bag. But other than that, Bivol, if you give up your Canelo dream, because he's fighting John Ryder. Listen, Canelo's fighting John Ryder. Let's be serious.
John Ryder has good names on his resume. I thought when I first heard the fight get mentioned, announced, I thought, he beat Danny Jacobs. John Ryder has good names on his resume, but
nobody cares about John Ryder.
No, they don't. But it's not. He's a fighter. He fought the people to get to where he is. Let him get his shot. Man.
No, I'm not saying he shouldn't get a shot. I'm saying Canelo. I haven't said that. Canelo is fighting John Ryder. Canelo chose John Ryder over a bunch of fighters that he could fight. I don't know if Canelo goes from John Ryder to BENAVIDEZ. I don't think so. We don't think
the plan is John Ryder to Bivol.
And then Bivol again.
Yeah.
We really want to see Bivol and BENAVIDEZ. But if we can't get BENAVIDEZ, I have no problem with BENAVIDEZ throwing his hat in that ring and getting into 175 and getting into these dudes. But listen, do you have a problem with BENAVIDEZ and Yarde? As a first fight, as a first dip into 175? You're a Yarde guy, so...
I'm a Yarde guy, but I'm also a BENAVIDEZ guy. And that pressure is going to fold Yarde.
He's going to get tired at some point in time?
Yeah, he's going to fold him. I don't see a lot of people...
So that's what I'm saying, but that will be his first dip into 175, and that will be something nice. Listen, BENAVIDEZ is bringing a lot of excitement. What's great is... Again, I mean, I would like to see the Morrell fight, but I totally understand that business doesn't permit him fighting. Doesn't make business sense for you to fight Morrell. Morrell has to be more active. He has to be more visual, and you probably might get there. If you do get there, you never know. This guy might be here, he might be not. I don't think in any stretch BENAVIDEZ is afraid. But again, let's see what Morrell does. Again, I would like to see the fight, but having said that, I get if BENAVIDEZ is BENAVIDEZ, what he did tonight is a different level. He headlined a pay-per-view.
He can't go fight Morrell now.
I'm pretty sure this pay-per-view did really well. I'm pretty sure. I mean, in retrospect for whatever is going on, but I'm pretty sure it did really, really well. So, BENAVIDEZ, props to you.
Good night of boxing, man. Controversial, exciting night of boxing.
A great night, man. We haven't had a really good night of boxing in a long time like this. This was a nice one. It brought us together. We actually have a whole team in the house, and everybody enjoyed themselves. But I mean, On to the next.
That's a recap, man.
On to the next.
We may do a video covering the ESPN card, but good night at boxing.
Yeah, plus we have some potential fights coming up. We want to mention some names. Usyk, potentially Dubois.
Yeah, because the Fury fight fell through.
I
don't know what to believe, so I'll reserve judgment until I see an announcement.
That's a good fight. I mean, you have your thoughts on Usyk. I have my thoughts on Usyk.
But Dubois doesn't stand a chance.
Oh, I didn't say that.
That's my opinion.
I did not say that.
He doesn't stand a chance. But let's not talk about.
We're not going to talk about it. We're just talking about the names. Wilder wants to throw his name in with Usyk. Usyk pretends he doesn't hear him, so we'll just leave it at that. We don't know what Wilder's going to do because you turned down the Destroyer Ruiz. So we'll see. We'll do other shows on Ryan and Tank.
Tank for sure.
That has to have its own show, right? But Ryan was in the house tonight. I was told, not Ryan, Tank was in the house tonight, and I was told that he was going for Plant. And he pretty much, he showed, his emotions betrayed everything that was going on in the ring. When you look at it, it was real funny. Yeah. But he should be there. He should be at his best. I'm preparing for Tank.
Preparing for Ryan.
Preparing for Ryan.
Be all right.
We have my man, who I think is the man in heavyweight, if ever. Tyson Fury decides to get out of there and go do whatever you're doing and wrestling, go hang with the Undertaker or whatever.
There's another point of contention between the two of us.
Joe, the Juggernaut, Joyce.
He doesn't even have. He's fighting the Asian guy.
He's fighting a Chinese guy called the Chinese knockout artist. So it should be a fun fight. So we'll see. We'll talk about that fight. That's April 15th. That's the week before Tank and Ryan. So we'll definitely cover that fight, even though he might not want to. But we'll definitely cover it
for sure.
I think he has, a lot to say in the heavyweight division. As far as that, what do we have? And again, I don't want to say it, but every part of me wants to see this fight. I wanted to see this fight last year, so I don't want to mention it, but Spence, Bud, come on.
And with that,
come on.
Good night, everybody. This is the recap
Bud, Spence,
for Platinum BENAVIDEZ.
Come on.
Let's not talk about fights until they get announced. We went through this
I know,
last year, so hope you guys enjoyed the recap. Comment, let us know what you think about the fight. Do you think we had any wrong takes? Do you agree with our takes? Let us know what you're saying. We'll definitely respond and be interactive with you guys in the comments. Like, share, comment, subscribe.
Thank you very much.
SparCenter.